Why am I unstable?
You know when you can see the screen. Y'all can see it, right?
Yep.
Yeah, see, look, I'm working on my menu and shit. Oh.
Clean.
Mofongo.
Mofongo.
Umbo.
All right, so we'll kind of take a look at what's going on with the DXY from a high level right now. Now, this is an important zone for a long time because once this loads, you're gonna see a lot of consolidation, right? This is all part of a big ass like bullish flag. There's the bull move, consolidated, broke. Once it broke all the way up to 114, which we saw a difficult economy. Once we saw that happening, we saw the drop all the way down for the past 6 months or so, 6 months. So once it retested, came back up, we are waiting for another retest because it never reached, as far as your RSI goes, it never reached the low zone again. This is where it becomes a big buy zone. But if we're looking for DXY to go bullish, I can easily see that this broke down, but I can see it coming down a little further because we have the rising wedge here, right? Here's the retest, the break, here's the retest. And now we can still continue down to at least 50% of what this flag post would be, right? Or wedge post. Now, the irony for that is that if it comes down any further, what it's doing now and continues to come down for a little while off the daily, this would be about 50%. I'll bring my fib out here in a second for it to continue up. Now, there's another reason why we're probably going to need to see this come down. Let me go up one scale here real quick, and Zay and I were looking at this. Off of the weekly, we were looking for a lot of buy-side liquidity, and we see that now. So this zone, this wedge still could be going up off of the weekly. Once it goes up, then we're still going to need to see, 50% of this retested, which could be part of the falling wedge right here that we saw on the daily. So we're in an interesting spot, but we're continuously seeing the DXY go bullish. Also, when you look on the weekly, from the buy side liquidity that's been taken already from where it opened, these two wicks are decent sized wicks that I would refer to as liquidity wicks, right? They're like liquidity grabs. The bigger the wick on the higher time frame, the more likely it might be coming down or going up and following that wick. So seeing this wick, once it may finish this zone, it wants to come up and retest again, come back down, go back up. Once it's going to come down, we'll see it fill part of this wick, and it still needs to come down here, right, for 50% of the retest of the post, the flagpole. So once that happens, I would expect that on here, we'll see divergence, right? So we might see where this could come down into the 20 area, and this would just be a higher low to continue up. Whenever we're looking for reversals, I'm always like, I've come to find that within the market cycle that we're in right now, divergence plays a huge part. Not that divergence never has, it always has been important, but it is a clear indication of a reversal at this point in this market that we're in right now. So I would be looking for some form of a retest down here at some point. But right now, while we're still in a small time frame, we're still looking at buys now until it shows us otherwise, right? So if we're now seeing where we're going to go bearish on a pullback because of this big impulse. So if we measure for the 1 hour here, look, your 75 and 88, which is like your last zone, we're already in a strong zone already, you know, with that. And not just that, but what would be considered as a form of a neckline right here. I would consider this a neckline because when I look at the big picture of this, I see one, I see consolidation with a drop, and then here, it needed to go bullish. And what did we see here? Divergence, right? So this zone still needs to be retested. So off of the smaller time frame, I would be looking for pullbacks on the way up. If you're looking at a bearish cycle, so like let's say GU or EU, right? But if you're looking at like UJ, you're looking for the pullback down to continue up because it already broke back into the flag here. We could see this off of the 1 hour, and all we're going to be doing off of the higher time frame is possibly creating the reversal back down, right? This wick needs to have a retest in it. We have a form of a gap. Literally, prices open and closed. This would be the gap. So there's going to have to be some form of activity coming back up in here. Off of the small time frames, you're going to be buying. Off of the higher time frames, you're probably going to be looking for sells. Until we reach those specific retests for it to go all the way back up. If I'm looking at even smaller time frames for when I'm looking for any form of an RSI, we're seeing a bullish move, but we are seeing where the candlesticks are kind of weakening out. We see a lot of consolidation, but we do see a bullish move overall happening. Once this reaches the sell zone up in this area, then we're going to be selling, all just to buy it all over again. So there's multiple things that we can do when we even go down even smaller time frames. We can see a sell for the buy to then have the longer, bigger move afterwards. All these fair value gaps need to start being filled. There's a ton of them after what happened today, which today, if I'm not mistaken, was PPI. Right? Right. So PPI was today. We see a lot of, like I said, a lot of fair value gaps. This was based on just a straight bull run. So with that type of a strength, what goes up must come down. And that's kind of where we're at right now. So if I'm looking for any form of a move right now, I'm actually going to look for this fair value gap to be filled first. And then start using the pullback to continue up, possibly, you know, create another wick on the next day, etc., for the rest of the week, and then start selling shortly after. It's going to be interesting when we have interest rates coming out soon.
Is that
so
next week? Sometime this month, right?
I think it's next Wednesday, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
Let me take a look real quick. Yep, funds rates. So they haven't announced the forecast. This will be a massive move for one way or the other. If the forecast says 50 basis points and they only go 25, you're going to see the US dollar drop. If it goes 50 basis points for the forecast and 50 basis points for the actual reading, or if they really want to be intelligent with it, go 75, then you're going to see the US dollar start skyrocketing. But in that case, we might be looking for, if we're in that bearish move by next week, by next Wednesday, we could be looking at that just being a pullback while we're looking at the high time frame, higher low that's being created. So these will all play. There's going to be a lot of moves that are going to be able to be made here. Just as long as you know where DXY is set to start going, then apply it to however you need to. UJ specifically. I mean, we've seen the Japanese yen at the lowest price. What was it? Maybe about 8 months ago, the lowest price it's ever been. And it's been, kind of making its comeback a little bit. I'm looking at JXY. Look at where we've been at. I mean, it's been crazy. When it reached that lowest low, we've seen a decent sized pullback here, right? All the way up. Ever since we reached down here, which was October. That's the lowest price the Japanese yen has ever been. So if what this needs to do is create a candlestick double top, which could be formed, when this starts coming down, you're going to start seeing the US dollar go skyrocketing, and that's when you're going to really want to buy UJ. So these should all correlate with each other on the opposite side. These won't correlate with each other. They should go opposite. So again, then if you know where DXY is going, so if we're going to be shortly selling the US dollar to then buy it back up, guess what we're doing with the AUD, the AUD? We're going to be buying for it to sell. You go complete opposite. In fact, that, as we've stated along for a while here, the strongest correlation between two currencies that are opposite of each other, AUD and USD. So keep that in mind, because if you're marking up DXY and you know where it's going, you can definitely trade AU specifically for a lot of pips. So with everything going on fundamentally, you also have to understand with the demand that the US dollar is going to be coming into, especially with interest rates going up again and whatnot, we're going to start seeing bull runs from the US dollar. That's why I say on the high time frame, we're looking for a higher low to be made, even though we can buy and sell the hell out of it one way or the other every time on the small time frames. We're looking for the actual pullback. And but once it breaks that high time frame rising wedge, that's when we can start really selling USD until it starts buying again. But I mean, we're talking about a forecast of maybe over the next few months.
Makes sense. All right. So for what I'm looking at, it was a pretty decent day on the sales on indexes and across the board. So took advantage of that. Popped back up in the in again after yesterday. So Nas, German 30 and US 30 kind of off right now, the way we ended out the day. Nas started to break out of this channel. And from the higher time frame perspective, it's really strong coming out the gate. And we kind of got this little bullish flag going on. So it makes sense with Mike seeing the DXY pop up and then come for that drop, right? All that move we saw today, we're gonna see it when that get clinked up. So with that being said, I'm bullish on Nas in the current moment. If we can stay outside of this, then I definitely want to see us hold and continue to push upwards. But if we come in caps this whole 4 hour engulfing that's showing up here, then we may see this come back down in. But DXY is a nice big move come down to clean up those fair value gaps you discussing. So for now, we'll see. We'll see. I'm really out of the market. I want to see this 4 hour, maybe leave us a wick, stay within this zone that I have here through the night, and then maybe we can ride this up. But I'd rather see this when I wake up, say maybe in the morning, see how it sets up for New York session. And if we can hold, then I'll look for buys tomorrow. US 30 as well. We are, that last pump down hit us at the 30. So we do kind of have a double bottom happening. We'll see if this market can give us a move up, retest, and keep that flow going. Otherwise, we'll see it come down. But with DXY, how it is, like I said, that this pullback here is enough for us to see US 30 at least go bullish through the night, and we'll see what happens in the morning. German 30 as well, we did really well. We got this little imbalance up here. We'll see if this holds, comes back up again. And then if so, I think we'll meet this trend line. We'll maybe consolidate a little bit through the week. If not, we'll push up really strong and break through. But for now, hey man, just chill out, watch the market. GJ. So let's go to the 4 hour. 4 hours currently engulfing for the Bears. We broke a nice zone, retesting there. I believe I missed what he said on GBP, but I imagine we're seeing this come down. So if that's the case, then this move is going to be for tonight, and you may see this do something different come London. That's a mean double top, actually. So let's see if this holds. This looks like currently we'll need a nice move down into 159.5. And if we can hold that, we can take a double bottom to go up, break here, and then do what it do. Otherwise, we'll just see this pressure come in and come down into 158,626. So why do I have that notion? It's because we do have a nice support over here. So if we do continue down, that's what we'll see. I do like we went outside the RSI here, kind of gives me the sentiment that, bulls will come in and we can push back topside of the RSI. But for now, be patient, wait till it gives you the move. Bitcoin's holding 25,000. You guys saw a lot of the news coming out with the ISO and with crypto. We'll see how those things go. DXY drops, so we're gonna have crypto rise. So really not that difficult of a notion to, put together. We are way outside in the RSI on 12. Well, not way outside, but we're hitting that top side. So we'll see through the night. This starts to eat up these candles over here, come back up into this wick with 26,000. You're going to see that, especially based on what we just saw DXY. GA still holding my structures pretty well. I got tapped out in profit too many times to keep coming back for this. So we'll see what happens. If this gives us, a move to the trend line we're looking for, or if it finally comes down. I know we've been looking for the top of the week for this to come down and hit 1.80450 to 500 area. But we'll see how it goes, man. We're hitting that midweek time frame. Other than that, I don't think I have anything else I'm looking for. Oh, USD CAD and oil. USD CAD bulls came in pretty nicely. We're getting a 4-hour cross and sitting on that currently. We'll see if we wake up tomorrow and we can get this to be a 4-hour engulfing. That'll continue our push to the upside. Oil played out very well, has been dropping very nicely, finally broke. So I'm expecting us to definitely come back in and have a retest of the bottom of this area here at some point. If it does decide to get a little bullish action in it. But with the way USD CAD's looking, if USD CAD just goes out the gate, man, then this oil's just gonna keep pushing. Keep on pushing. Check the weekly real quick. All right, yeah. So maybe, we'll get stagnant. This is a big move. This is a big move already. So we'll see. By next week, if we can maintain this nice bearish candle, then next week we'll just get the 50 retest, which will be the pullback probably we're looking for this bearish flag, and then continue to pressure to the downside. UJ. The daily, we dropped nicely. We got a nice cross going on. I believe Chris already dropped a drop, right? If I don't know if you remember or not, Tay, but I think Chris already had a drop coming in on DXY. I mean, on DXY or UJ with this nature. So we'll see if it can maintain. I still want this break of 132.500 to happen, a strong one, but this did not pop back up and like a DXY didn't and hold. So interesting. For now, the Bears are in, man. So I'm rocking with them. Who's that? Actually, all right. Anything else? Tay, you ready to rock out? That's all I'm looking at.
Yeah.
Word.
Word. Hmm. All right, let's take a look at gold. Gold did we actually do yesterday. So we're looking at the daily. We see we got our pullback here yesterday to this level and then a rise again. If you look at the 4 hour, it does it right at this level we talked about and basically formed a engulfing. And then on the hour is even better. Like, let's go to the hour. The hour's even better. Does it here, does a railroad here. And it just kind of gets better as that point goes on. Even 30 minutes, it does a doji. So like you had multiple chances to get into gold today that formed at this level that told you that it was a good position for us to get in. We knew we was pulling back. All we were looking for is candles to tell us, yep, this is it. This is his turning point. Happened here on 30 minutes. If you didn't want to wait for the 30 minutes, happened here on the hour, give you a railroad. If you didn't want to wait for that, happened here on the 4 hour. So you had plenty of time to get into that trade for gold. Almost played out perfectly to come down, touch here, and then rise again to now continue upwards to our next spot, which is gonna be that 1948 that we talked about. I think you mentioned the US 30 a little bit.
Mhm.
I had it rising, but I don't know if it's going to actually make that rise like we want to. It is forming a lot of these downward wicks that we're seeing here. That means it's trying to short itself. They're not certain if they want this thing to drop yet. And it's happening at our level for our channel. So a lot of big moves are happening at our channel where it's basically just hitting off the channel and bouncing off of here. So I would continue to look for my buys here on US 30. Um, that's what I'm seeing. I haven't seen anything yet that's going to tell me that it's going to reverse out of here. Only major thing we might see here is that it's engulfing here off of this, but this wick is just crazy to me to watch it. It's kind of throwing me off a little bit. The weekly is another day in 19 hours. The weekly is showing that it might actually give us a doji at that level that shows the indecision that we need to give us that reversal out of here. And then the monthly, it's not really giving anything yet. Um, we'll continue to watch to see what's going to happen with US 30. Everybody has it dying, but if you look at the RSIs are pretty low right now on this market for us to see if we're going to continue to have this thing to drop. I don't think it's going to keep dropping like we wanted to or like they wanted to. Um, Netflix is still moving the way we saw earlier. We talked about it coming back up to this channel. That's what it's doing now. That's the weekly. That's the daily. 4 hour. Everything's coming up back up again to the top of this channel to then drop again. So we're just waiting for that move to happen. Nothing too crazy. We're out of our upwards movement for our channel. We're just waiting for that reversal. That we already had the reversal input. We're just waiting for the confirmation to come back up and hit that channel and then fall out of here like it's supposed to. Oil, we talked about US oil yesterday. How it's gonna come back down to this level and then make a decision what's gonna do. It made its decision what it wanted to do. It blew right past here. Did not care about that level that has been so prevalent for the last December of 2022 and all these major moves that happened back in 2021. So it blew right past it, did not care what was going on. If you see here on the 4 hour, it didn't care. On the hour, it kind of tried to make a decision, it will stay there for 1 pip, so maybe for an hour. It tried to come back into it, and then they just came in and said, nah, we'll just keep making this thing drop. So US oils will keep falling. We got oil coming down to 62.53. So that's a good thing, I guess. If you feel like oil should be it's too high right now. I'm moving through these real quick, huh? Tesla, we've already established that it will come down to this level and reverse out of here, which is exactly what it did. Came down to that 166, like we talked about last week. This week it actually made the move and now it's giving us our push upwards to then come to the top of here and potentially form a double top to continue that drop or continue past here. Because we're looking at a inverted head and shoulders that formed. So continue to watch that. We'll look at neckline retest. If it does blow past here, we'll wait for it to come back to 216 and then take our entries into here. If you miss your entry at 166. 166, wait to get to 216, come in here, enter at that 216, and then continue upwards. This one got shafted. Yep. This one's still rising for Jen. I don't have anything else really. I'm just watching a lot of these pairs. Gold broke out perfectly like I wanted to. That's the only big one that I cared about this week was gold making as major move and US 30.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna be taking a part of gold going up again after hitting that retracement. So I'll be taking part of that. We'll see if I'm gonna be playing with indexes. I know it's midweek, so it's kind of looking reversally. So I may buy on them. But other than that, man, that's all I got. I ain't gonna make tonight too long. We had a great, fantastic reunion yesterday. I'm sure we'll have another one when Strauss roll up in here.
Hopefully.
Yeah, and Chris come back through.
A lot of jewels drops that you guys didn't really hear.
I'm telling you, don't want to miss them, man. That's all I got. I'll holler at y'all tomorrow.
Later.
Word. Later, bro. Appreciate you.
No problem.